Hello and welcome. My name is Mike Rambuya, and today is April 1st, but I don't have much of a April Fool's video. It's just another silly little video, kind of like I did on Mario Day, but this time we're going to look at something different. Now, as far as anime based on TCGs, the oldest one, at least my first one, has always been Yu-Gi-Oh! It's actually one of the first TCGs that I not only collected but actively tried to play. So in today's video we are going to take a look at what would happen if we take Digimon and crossed it with Yu-Gi-Oh! More in the sense of Digimon Liberator specifically. So deck rules, of course, are we're going to choose 4 characters from the series, and this is going to range anywhere from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series to Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, and I know there's a newer series, but I've kind of fallen off on it. Um, and so my knowledge about the characters is going to be very, very, very uh, poor. But I've done my best to at least kind of confirm what I could remember about these characters. Each character will get a deck that is loosely themed around them, and for today, we're going to look at Yugi, Seto, Jaden, and Yusei. So let's just get right into it. So first we'll look at Yami and Yugi. I know I just said 4 characters, but since these characters, I know they're 2 separate characters, but for most of the series, they share screen time, and they kind of, for the most part, share a same deck. I figured it'd be very easy just to do this as one deal. Now, despite Yugi having association with many different cards, Summon Skull, the Ancient God cards, Magnet Warrior, Gaia the Dragon Beast, I think we can all agree that Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl and the kind of Dark Magician archetype has definitely been tied to Yugi and Yami. So, not that we don't necessarily have magicians in Digimon, we do have the wizard trait. And to be honest, I just kind of pulled cards from the Beelzemon Starter Deck 14. And mainly because I kind of think that Starmon and Beelzemon are the closest thing we'll have to a Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl equivalent. Not to mention, Beelzemon does have different forms, so does X Antibody and Blast Mode to kind of gave tribute to things like Dark Paladin or Ancient Dark Magician, Magician of Black Chaos. So for the GGAs, we're going to use 4 of the Yamons from Starter Deck 14. Then we're going to use 4 copy of BT19 Impmon, which allows us to on play grab a tamer from the trash, which given Beelstarmon's effective when I trash a card from my deck, I can play an Impmon from my trash without paying the cost. Should be easy to kind of trigger that, as well as Rush. 4 copies of the Impmon from the starter deck, 3 copies of Witchmon from the starter deck, 4 copies of Wizardmon the promo, mainly because when that Wizardmon is trashed from your deck, you gain a memory. So if you happen to trash 2, well, there's 2 memory right there. Balmon from BT14 and Balmon from ST14, just to help with kind of accelerating our ability to get to or to play out a Beelzemon. And then we're going to have 3 copies of Beelstarmon from the starter set, 3 copies of Beelzemon from the starter deck ST14, 2 copies of Beelzemon EA6 just because he has Rush, 2 copies of Beelzemon Blast Mode Ace from BT19 as just another way to kind of keep your opponent's field in check, and also given that when you trash cards so much, you can then start hitting their security pretty well. You can start hitting their security to lower as much as we can. We have the EX2 and the BT19 versions of I and Mako. Then we're going to use Rivals Barrage from ST14, which allows you to win as trash from hand, trash from the deck, put it into your hand, and then allows you to put cards into the bottom of your deck because it is very easy to mill out in this type of deck to where you're constantly putting cards into your trash. Death Slinger, Bonds of True Love, Wisdom Training, and One Call of Darkness. That way we can always bring some cards back into our hand when we really need it. So it's a very wizard themed deck, but of course, what would their tamers look like if we made Yami and Yugi a tamer card? So first, kind of play on the whole heart on the cards and the pot of greed joke. At the start of the turn, we can do a draw one, discard one as another way to get cards into your trash, but also maybe have a chance to grab a card you really want. Next, spend to trash a card from deck to Digivolve. I kind of trash card from deck. I kind of feel that this was a kind of another way to help with that. Either this be a when attacking a phase, or similar to Yuki's for the Dark Dragons, where you can suspend it and Digivolve from the trash. But this one would also then trash from your deck as well to kind of help build that number up. And of course, the color we put Yugi and Yami in is purple because it would just work well in the Yazamon deck. Next, we'll look at his rival Seto Kaiba, and for Seto Kaiba, I actually went with a 4 Great Dragons deck. So we have 4 copies of Koromon from BT12, 3 copies of Agumon from EX3, 3 copies of Patamon from EX3, 2 copies of Kudamon from BT13. This Kudamon allows you to grab a Vaccine Digimon and a Yellow Tamer. Most of our Digimon will have the Vaccine traits, so this should be very easy to use and kind of gives you another search effect. 3 copies of Vidramon from EX3, 3 copies of Gatomon from EX3, and then we're also grabbing Aero Vidramon and Angie Huamon from EX3. Now, as far as the Great Dragons, we're going to use Goldramon X Anybody from BT16 as a way to play out an option card to help us out, especially if it's one of the Great Dragon trait cards. We're going to use Azulongmon from EX3, which has the on-play effects, as well as the Ace from EX5, mainly because it allows you to unsuspend one of your 4 Great Dragons, so maybe they can attack again. And then, if it does get played by the Trial of the 4 Great Dragons, yes, at the end of the turn it will be deleted, but it does have an on-deletion effect of, hey, delete one of my opponent's Digimon. And even though, yes, they'll get the overflow from your ace, if you happen to delete one of their aces, it will hopefully then cancel out. Then 3 copies of Magidramon from EX3. We're going to use regular Goldramon from EX3 and Magidramon from EX3 as well. Next, we'll grab TK Takahashi from BT1. It's a reprint. Good on play, good memory setter, and a way to grab cards from your security and put them onto the field if need be. Cody is, most of these cards are yellow, so just kind of a free memory grabber. Plus, his effect of if you have any 2-color Digimon that attack with Goldramon X Anybody be a dual color and Azulongmon EX5 being a dual color, should be easy to trigger that. And then of course we have the 3 main components of Trial of the Great 4 Dragons, Godflame and Dragon's Breath. These are all cards that revolve around the 4 Great Dragons archetype. Now, technically, in the series, we only see 3. The reason I went 4 Great Dragons, sorry, let me rewind back. Why did I choose the 4 Great Dragons? Well, because Kaiba's main thing for the whole entire series is the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and they predominantly just show 3 of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. However, I kind of like, so technically this deck could still work if you just play the 3 main dragons from EX3, and I include, let's say, Magidron, just because color-wise, he's kind of the outlier being at purple. But I kind of like including Magidron as like the destroyed Blue Eyes White Dragon. It just kind of fits into the theme. I just think it's the theme, you know, a dragon of great destruction and whatnot. Him being destroyed, and also the fact that the other 3 are also holy dragons, while he is an evil dragon. It kind of just still works as well, to represent the destroyed Blue Eyes White Dragon from the series. So I know this deck is not the great, and also it may not really show off Kaiba's like personality, given that he's always seen as like the anti-hero and whatnot. But the on-play effects of some of these cards definitely do help. Drawing cards, and gain 2 memory, very driving use I need, weakening my opponent with negative security attack, also very Kaiba of just like, you know, you don't get to play this game. Playing a dragon to gain an effect, and then as well as deleting your opponent's field also works. Also, the addition of the Zulongmon, like I said, is for its on play of returning a card from my returning one of my opponent's level 5 or lower, and its ace card definitely will help with the memory deal. Then I can unsuspend one of my 4-gate dragons to then have them attack again. And that works well with EX3 Goldramon, to where I can return Magnadramon, Azulongmon, or Magidramon back to the bottom of my deck, and then trash it to my opponent's cards. So that does help. And like I said before, we're going to include the Goldramon X Anybody, mainly because of his when digivolving and when attacking, of I can use 1 Gold Godflame or 1 option card with the 4 Great Dragons trait from my hand without paying the cost. And then he also gained the effects of Goldramon in his evolution card, so he will also gain the ability to then return cards to his hand, to the deck. So I know 4 Great Dragons is not probably one of the greatest decks, but I think it fits Kaiba well, especially with his whole deal with Blue Eyes White Dragon. But Kaiba as a tamer, though, I figure he would just have an on-play effect of search for a card with the 4 Great Dragon trait. He will have suspend. When I play a Digimon by effect, I can suspend him to gain 1 memory. And I make him do a couple of blue and yellow just to fit more into the 4 Great Dragons. And that way, if you want to just use the 3 Holy Dragons and not even use Magidramon and replace it with some other searchers or options and whatnot, he will, or even some blue option cards, he would still be able to allow you to do that. Next, we're going to hop from Yu-Gi-Oh to Yu-Gi-Oh GX and looking at Jaden Yuko. Jaden was a bit interesting because Jaden's whole thing is hero cards, either the elemental heroes or the evil heroes, and we really don't have what I would call a lot of superheroes in Digimon, but we do have one that recently has just gotten a boost to their deck, and so I created him the more recent device Digimon deck with pulling comes from old faces from BT19. So the DigiEggs, we're going to use 5 DigiEggs, 3 of Hotmon from EX2, which allows you to, if you have a black tamer in play, trigger effect, 2 from BT19 Hotmons, and then a lot of the cards we're pulling from BT19 or EX2. So the Monodramons from EX2 and BT19, the Strikemons from EX2 and BT19. For Cyberdramon, we are including the Cyberdramon from EX3, mainly because it does not have the weird effect of, hey, if I don't have a tamer, I can't attack. Of course, the Cyberdramon from BT19 and the Cyberdramon from EX8, just because it does have the ability to trash a device or track an option that's in your play area. As far as, and of course, this is a very level 6 heavy card, as we have Justimon Blitz Arm, the Ace from BT19, the Critical Arm from BT10, the Excel Arm from BT11, and of course the X Antibody from EX8, and then of course from BT9 we're pulling Sujimon, Raijamon, and Fujimon as a way to kind of put in more like superhero like Digimon into this deck, and plus they do have a hand effect of like, hey, I can put this card underneath a Justimon for the cost of 1 memory. So again, Justimon, he's to my understanding inspired by Kamen Rider, which is superheroes, more like Power Rangers style deal. So I think it just works, and using the Ace one, especially with the current the King, Knight, and Queen devices, including those in the deck, definitely will help trigger those effect. And because during the series, you know, you can fuse the different heroes to get like Winged Man Wild Heart or something like that, or Wild Wingman Heart. Crazy fusions like that. I think being able to go on top of these cards with just like, hey, Justimon Critical Arm or Justimon Excel Arm, kind of pays tribute to that. And of course, to get more variety, we can use Sujimon, which does have the effect of, if you have a Digimon with Justimon or Raidamon in its name, you can pay 1 to put this in the bottom of its Digivolutions. Not to mention, it's a decent level 6 by itself. And when it's inheritable, of return one of my opponent's level 4 lower card, and this automatically gives it to Justimon to boost him up a bit more. Same thing with Ryujamon. Ryujamon has an inheritable of, when attacking, one of your Digimon gets negative 4,000. One of your opponent's Digimon gets negative 4,000 DP. My bad. And of course, Fujimon has the suspend effect of suspend one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. That Digimon can't unsuspend until the end of your next phase. But now this whole collection of heroes, though not a 1-for-1 for the elemental or even the evil heroes, I do think it's a good. This is a good theme to go with, especially with Jade and Yuko. Now, as far as making him a tamer, actually we'll make him a memory setter. So memory setters are at the start of your turn. If you have 2 or less, set it to 3. I'm gonna give it a suspend effect of draw 1 card from your deck when digivolving on the same level. So I probably worded this incorrectly. Cool Boy had a similar effect to where basically with the X antibodies, if you go from level 6 to level 6 plus level 6 antibody, you can trigger effect. This is the same thing with Jaden, given that Justimon Critical Arm, and Justimon Excel Arm can kind of all, or sorry, Blitz Arm, can kind of all digivolve on top of each other. So you're really going from a 6 to 6. So I figure we'll just copy an effect similar to that, and we will allow you to draw a card. Maybe not gain memory since he's a memory setter, but we'll at least maybe draw a card to grab what you need, and maybe grab a device card that you can get onto field to then trigger some of the effects of removing them from the play area. And given that he is going to team up with Justimon, we have to put him into the black color. Excuse me. And our last duelist of this video is Yusei Fudo. Now, the whole thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds was these great these legendary dragons fighting the forces of evil. But Yusei used a lot of what I would the junk archetype, which I would definitely throw more maybe in the machine and cyborg category. So I made him a cyborg Sons of Chaos deck per se. So we're using 4 copies of BT 19 Hotmon. We're using EX1 Hagurumon, EX15, BT15 Hagurumon, EX1 Gardramon, BT15 Gardramon, And then throwing a lot of level 5s because a lot of the Machine Dramon, Chaos Dramon effects rely on level 5 cyborgs. So we threw in BT8 Metal Greymon, BT9 Mega Dramon, BT11 Giga Dramon, uh, BT15 Mega Dramon. Excuse me, lost my train of thought there. BT15 Mega Dramon, which is very SO C focus on trashing cards with Cyborg and to gain effect. BT12 Chaos Dramon X Antibody because I know there's uh, the main dragon he has, which is like Shining Force Dragon or something like that. I can't quite remember, but either way, I know there's with the synchro summonings, there's like you can bump it up to another level, and so that's where Chaos Dramon X Antibody comes from. Chaos Dramon BT7, which has the Digicross effect of playing it on top of using a Machine Dramon and a level 5 Cyborg to lower the play costs. BT11 Machine Dramon, which goes well with BT11 Analog Mon. Marvin Jackson, which has the Mind Link, which gives our cyborgs and machines a boost. Supreme Connection and Black Scramble, and Ultimate Connection as a way to make Digivolutions cheaper and to play out and to get cyborgs into your trash, and so you can use them later. But yeah, so Machine Dramon and Chaos Dramon, I just felt like were a good combination of not only like the whole dragon, the ancient dragon themes in the deck or in the show, but also Jaden's kind of more mechanic and cyber focused deck. Now, if I were to make him, you say a tamer, I'll give him the gain 1 memory if my opponent has a Digimon effect. Excuse me. And then give him a suspend of when a card is trashed by Digivolution stack. Because Machine Dramon and Chaos Dramon can trash a card in the Digivolution stack to stay on the field. When that happens, I can draw a card to hopefully then grab another cyborg. Then I can use then to play into the trash for Digivolve or grab the card I need for Digivolution. Maybe grab a tamer that I don't have. And of course, since he's playing machines, we have to put him into the black category, black color scheme. And with that, that's kind of what I thought about when I put Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the Digimon TCG. I apologize for my lack of Yu-Gi-Oh! Knowledge, but I figured this would be a fun April Fool's video to do a silly little video of like, hey, crossover's a big thing, let's take Yu-Gi-Oh! An anime and the current TCG, and let's combine it with Digimon, and let's see what kind of fun deck we can make. But that's going to be all for today. I want to thank you very much for listening to my blabberings. If you have any shows or characters you want to see me do next, either from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or from other shows like Metabots or Duel Masters or Vanguard or whatever you're currently watching. It doesn't have to be TCG based, but if you got any suggestions, you can leave them down in the comments below. But again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe, may your pulls be blessed, and we'll see you next time.